My beloved child, come close for a moment, for I feel a stirring in the spirit, a gentle trembling in the unseen realms. The heavens are whispering, and Archangel Michael stands near, his sword lifted not in battle alone, but in warning, an urgent, shimmering warning meant only for you. I speak to you now as a father speaks to his precious flock, with love, with caution, and with the weight of divine responsibility resting upon my tongue. There is someone, yes, someone whose soul has been tied to yours long before your eyes even met them. Someone whose name rises in your spirit even when your lips are silent. Someone who feels like an echo of your own heartbeat, even if today they stand far away in distance, emotion, or confusion. That soul is trembling, child. Trembling in ways you cannot see with human vision, but heaven sees it clearly. And heaven is urgently reaching for you. You may have felt it recently, a sudden pull in your heart, a heaviness in your chest, dreams that feel too real, thoughts of them that come uninvited yet refuse to leave. You may have brushed it off, ignoring it as imagination, but it is not imagination. It is the divine thread between you vibrating, because the one your soul is tied to is struggling, stumbling, crying in places you cannot hear, wrestling with choices that affect not just their destiny, but yours as well. Archangel Michael says, if they fall, part of you will feel the impact. If they rise, part of you will ascend with them. This is no ordinary connection, no ordinary entanglement. You are bonded for a purpose that has not yet reached completion, a divine assignment that has not yet finished unfolding. And the Spirit is urging, no, pleading, that you do not overlook this moment, because time in the spirit realm is shifting like sand under the wind. What was once stable is now moving. What was once certain is now trembling. And what was once divinely protected is now vulnerable. Hear me, beloved, the person your soul is tied to is not okay. You may see their pictures smiling, but their spirit is breaking. You may feel them drifting away, but it is only because their life path is being pulled, twisted, reshaped by forces they have not yet learned how to fight. They are being tested, stretched, tempted, and redirected, and these changes could sever the bond between you if left unattended. Yes, if this moment is dismissed, if this message is ignored, if you walk past these words as though they are just another piece of noise floating on the wind, the bond may break permanently. And heaven does not want that. My child, the weight you feel in your chest is not anxiety. It is the signal of the connection calling for your attention. It is the vibration of destiny tapping at your spirit saying, wake up. Look closer. Something is happening. The enemy has been whispering confusion into the ears of the one connected to you. Doubt, fear, distraction, exhaustion. They are being pulled in directions that distance them from their purpose and from you. And if they lose themselves in this battle, the spiritual thread between you will grow thin and fragile. Archangel Michael's voice thunders even now. Tell them to open their eyes. Tell them to listen. Tell them to act before the moment collapses. This is why this message came to you today. Not by accident. Not by coincidence. But by divine design. So open your heart, beloved. Let nothing distract you from what is about to unfold in the sacred message. Heaven is speaking, and it is speaking to you. My beloved child, lean closer now, for what I am about to reveal requires a quiet heart and an attentive spirit. Many people walk through life believing that struggles are only visible when they can be seen with the eyes. But you, chosen one, must understand something deeper, something the Spirit has been trying to show you. The one your soul is tied to is fighting battles that their words will never confess and their actions will never fully reveal. You may feel their heaviness from a distance. It slips into your spirit unexpectedly, like a sudden cloud covering the sun. You may wake up some mornings with an unexplainable sadness, a pressure in your chest, or a strange concern that appears from nowhere. You might think it is your own burden, but child, much of what you feel does not belong to you. You are sensing the tremors of their spiritual struggle. You are picking up the vibrations of a storm swirling around their heart. This person, the one heaven tied to your spirit long ago, has been walking through dry valleys and shadowed corners they have not told anyone about. Their smile is practiced, their strength is often a performance, and their silence is heavier than most people would ever imagine. They are wrestling with decisions that scare them, memories that haunt them, and fears that choke their hope. And yet, outwardly, they look composed. But inwardly, they are standing on ground that is cracking. Beloved, the Spirit shows me that their struggle is not random, it is spiritual. It is tied to their destiny. It is tied to the bond between you. There are forces trying to pull them off their path, trying to confuse their judgment, trying to drown out the whispers of divine direction. They have been feeling lost, misunderstood, and overwhelmed, even by things that once brought them peace. They are questioning themselves, doubting their worth, and second-guessing every step. Their soul is tired. They carry wounds that no one has tended to. Wounds from betrayal, disappointment, abandonment, and unspoken expectations. And though they walk among people, they feel alone. Heaven sees this loneliness even when no one else does. Archangel Michael sees the cracks in their armor, the trembling in their spirit, the weight pressing against their back. And heaven knows that if they break under this pressure, the connection you share will suffer. Oh child, listen closely. Their struggle is not only their own. Because your souls are tied, their storm causes your waters to rise. Their pain sends ripples into your world. Their confusion clouds your vision. This is why you have felt spiritually off balance lately. This is why certain days have felt unusually heavy. You are spiritually connected, and when one falls, the other feels the pull. And yet, they have no idea that you sense their suffering. They have no idea that their spirit calls out to you. They have no idea that heaven is using you as a stabilizing anchor in this moment. They simply continue walking through their storm, believing they must endure it alone. My beloved, the Spirit shows me moments when they sit quietly, staring into nothing, wondering what is wrong with their life. They feel something missing, something incomplete. They feel a gap they cannot explain. They keep trying to fill it with distractions, with busyness, with noise, but nothing satisfies. Because the unfinished connection between you is pulling on them, tugging at their spirit, reminding them, subtly, quietly, insistently, that something divine between you has not yet come full circle. But the enemy knows this too. And that is why the struggle is intensifying. That is why confusion has entered their heart. That is why fear whispers into their mind. The forces that do not want this connection to be completed are working overtime, trying to weaken them, trying to distract them, trying to make them walk away from what is divinely tied. You may ask, Father, why has heaven revealed their struggle to me and not to them? And I tell you this gently, because you, child, are spiritually awake. You have ears that hear the divine. You have sensitivity that moves beyond the surface. You have been chosen to stand in the gap, to discern, to hold a spiritual line for them when they cannot hold it for themselves. Do not doubt the signals you feel. Do not ignore the heaviness that shows up in your spirit. These are not coincidences. They are communications. The invisible battles they fight are echoing through your soul because the bond between you is real, active, and alive. And it is crying for help. My child, we cannot linger here too long. The Spirit is ready to reveal the reason why their life path is shifting and why the season ahead is crucial for both of you. My beloved child, come closer once again, for the Spirit is unveiling deeper mysteries now. What you must understand is that the life path of the one your soul is tied to is not shifting by accident. Nothing in the spiritual realm moves without reason. Nothing in destiny changes without a divine or opposing force pushing it. And right now, this person is standing at a crossroads where every step they take, every choice they consider, and every emotion they resist is tied to a larger spiritual movement. Their path is shifting because heaven is trying to reroute them. The Spirit has been nudging them, whispering to them, stirring discomfort within them, not to punish them, but to draw their attention. When a soul is meant to awaken that refuses to respond to gentle signals, heaven allows the ground beneath them to shake. That shaking is what they are feeling now. The doors that once opened easily have begun to close. The people they once trusted feel distant. The routines they once enjoyed no longer satisfy. Everything around them is moving, and they do not understand why. But child, you understand, because heaven is allowing you to see what they cannot. Their life is shifting because their old path is no longer aligned with their calling. There are relationships, habits, mindsets, and attachments that are no longer serving their soul. And though they feel confused, this confusion is a sign of transformation. The Spirit disrupts before it redirects. The soul aches before it awakens. And they are in the middle of that divine disruption right now. But here is the part you must hold like treasure in your heart. Your connection to them is a part of their shift. Their spirit remembers you in ways their mind has forgotten. You have been a marker on their destiny map, a divine alignment point. And because that alignment has not yet been completed, heaven is pulling at their path, adjusting it, moving the pieces, rearranging the steps, preparing them for a moment where truth becomes undeniable. Even when they try to move in a different direction, life keeps pulling them back to a sense of incompleteness. They ignore it during the day, but it returns at night. They bury it under obligations, but it resurfaces in quiet moments. They tell themselves they have moved on, but something in their soul refuses to release the thread that binds them to you. This struggle is not weakness. It is recognition. Child, the Spirit shows me that they have been wrestling with decisions that would change everything. They are considering paths that could disconnect them from their divine assignment. They are thinking about choices that feel right in logic but wrong in spirit. And this war inside them is creating the shifts around them. When a person resists their destiny, their atmosphere becomes unsettled. Their peace becomes temporary. Their direction becomes blurred. This is why they feel lost. This is why they feel overwhelmed. This is why they feel like nothing is fitting anymore. Heaven is rearranging their life so that they cannot settle in a place that was never meant to hold them. Their soul knows where it is supposed to be, even when their mind does not. And because your souls are tied, their internal movement is tugging at your spirit as well. This is why you have felt the urge to pray for them without knowing why. This is why your thoughts drift toward them when you least expect it. This is why something inside you whispers that a shift is coming. The Spirit says their path is moving because the old season has expired. The lessons they were meant to learn in that chapter have reached completion. But the unfinished connection between you remains open, active, alive like an unwritten line in a sacred book. Until that connection is addressed, their path cannot stabilize. Their spirit cannot rest. Their heart cannot find clarity. And so heaven shakes them gently, then firmly, then urgently. It pushes them away from people who drain them. It closes doors that were never meant to be open. It reveals truths they once ignored. It awakens questions they once avoided. All of this is happening because destiny is calling them. And destiny is calling you too. Beloved, they do not understand why everything feels chaotic, but the Spirit says you will understand for both of you until they awaken. Their path is shifting because time is running thin for the unfinished work between you. There is a divine moment approaching, a spiritual appointment, and the universe is preparing both your hearts for it. But before that moment arrives, heaven must reveal something even deeper to you. You must understand not just the struggle, not just the shift, but the sacred meaning of this unfinished connection. My beloved child, settle your spirit now, for we are stepping into the heart of this revelation. Everything we have spoken of, their struggle, their shifting path, the trembling in your own soul, leads to this truth. The connection between you and this person is not finished. It was never meant to be a passing encounter, nor a forgotten chapter, nor a lesson wrapped in temporary emotion. It was designed with purpose, written long before either of you took your first breath, sealed in a realm where time bows before destiny. This connection is unfinished because something sacred was started, but never completed. Something divine was planted, but never harvested. Something awakened between your spirits, yet fear, timing, confusion, or circumstance interrupted its growth. Heaven did not close that chapter. Life did. And child, life is often impatient with the slow work of the Spirit. There were moments when the two of you felt an unexplainable pull. Even if you tried to ignore it, the pull remained. Even if you walked away, the feeling did not fade. And even now, though distance may separate you, the tether remains alive. That alone tells you that this connection did not come from human desire. It came from a divine alignment. The Spirit shows me that your souls recognized each other long before your minds understood what was happening. Your conversations felt familiar. Your presence felt like home. Your spirits leaned toward one another with ease, as if you had walked together in another season, another lifetime, or another realm. When two souls share this level of resonance, heaven marks the bond and protects it until its purpose is fulfilled. But this bond was interrupted. Not broken. Interrupted. Child, listen carefully. Sometimes heaven allows separation not to end a connection, but to prepare it. Sometimes distance is not rejection, but protection. For if union had happened too early, before either heart was ready, the connection would have been damaged. And so heaven, in its mercy, created space. Space for growth. Space for healing. Space for awakening. Space for both of you to confront your shadows and seek the light you were always meant to carry into each other's lives. But even during that separation, the connection was never sealed. There was never closure, never finality, never a true goodbye. Instead, there was a lingering energy, a silent thread, a spiritual whisper saying, "Not yet. Not finished. Not complete." The one your soul is tied to feels this unfinished story even if they cannot explain it. They feel restless because something in their life is unresolved. They feel unsatisfied in situations that look perfect from the outside. They feel haunted by a memory, a moment, a presence that refuses to die. This is not obsession. It is recognition. Their soul is remembering what their mind tries to forget. There are conversations that needed to happen, but never did. There were truths left unspoken, feelings left buried, promises left halfway written. And destiny does not allow a divine script to remain incomplete without stirring the souls tied to it. My child, the Spirit reveals that much of their current confusion is rooted in this unfinished connection. They stand in a season where their spirit is tugging them back toward alignment, but their mind is pulling them toward logic. Heaven is whispering, but the noise around them is loud. Their heart leans toward you spiritually, but their circumstances distract them physically. This inner conflict is tearing at their direction, and because their soul is tied to yours, you feel the tremors inside your own spirit. This is why random memories of them return. This is why you feel their emotions without explanation. This is why you sense them even when you try to move on. The connection was planted by heaven, and heaven does not abandon its seeds. But child, do not misunderstand. An unfinished connection does not guarantee an automatic reunion. Heaven offers the opportunity, but humans must choose it. The spiritual thread remains, but it can be frayed by fear, broken by pride, or severed by neglect. The choices you both make in this season matter. They carry weight. They carry consequence. This is why heaven is speaking urgently now. This is why Archangel Michael is stirring the atmosphere. This is why your spirit feels the pressure. Because there is a window, a divine moment, a spiritual opening, an appointed time where the possibility of reconnection blooms. But windows do not stay open forever, and delays weaken bonds. The unfinished connection between you is reaching a turning point. It can evolve into healing, clarity, reunion, and divine completion. Or it can collapse under the weight of silence and hesitation. Heaven is presenting the moment. What happens next depends on awareness, obedience, and courage. My beloved, their soul is calling out, even if their voice is silent. They do not know how to articulate what they feel. They do not know how to step forward. They do not know how to admit that part of them remains tied to you. But heaven knows. And heaven is now revealing the truth so that you can move with wisdom. If your heart is ready, child, I will guide you into the danger that comes if this divine call is ignored. My beloved child, take a deep breath now, for we are stepping into a solemn and delicate place in this revelation. The Spirit is gentle, but the message in this moment carries weight, and I must speak to you as a father speaks to a child he deeply loves. There is danger in silence. There is danger in hesitation. There is danger in ignoring a divine signal when heaven has repeated the warning again and again. And this connection, this sacred tie between your soul and theirs, stands at a fragile edge. The Spirit shows me that heaven has been trying to awaken them. Messages have been sent through dreams, through restlessness, through sudden memories of you that appear even when they try to shut them out. Their soul tries to rise, but their fears pull them down. They feel drawn toward truth, but they hide behind comfort. This conflict creates a spiritual imbalance, and that imbalance is affecting not only them, but you. For when soul ties are active, the spiritual health of one influences the other. But child, the real danger lies not in their struggle. It lies in the possibility that you might dismiss what heaven is revealing right now. Because this is not merely a message. It is a warning. A divine alarm ringing with urgency. You and this person are in a season where destiny is either completed or canceled. Soul ties, true soul ties, do not last forever without nourishment. They do not thrive on silence. They weaken when neglected, and eventually, if both sides turn away long enough, the thread that once felt unbreakable can dissolve completely. The Spirit whispers that this is a moment of decision. A moment where your awareness matters. A moment where your understanding can influence the course of this bond. If you ignore this stirring because it feels inconvenient, if you dismiss it because the connection has felt distant, if you pretend you do not feel what your soul has been trying to show you, then the unfinished connection may close itself, sealing the chapter permanently. Child, I do not say this to frighten you, but to awaken you. Heaven is merciful, but divine timing is not endless. Windows open and windows close, and you are standing in the middle of one. A person your soul is tied to is being pulled in opposing directions. Their heart leans toward what is divine, but their mind leans toward what is familiar. If the spiritual tug from your end weakens, they may fall fully into the wrong direction. And if they do, the bond will not merely fade. It will sever. Archangel Michael stands guard, but he cannot force the choices of a human heart. He can shield. He can guide. He can warn. But he cannot override the will that heaven has given freely. And so the danger in this moment is not that the bond is cursed. It is that the bond is vulnerable, fragile, exposed. It needs awareness. It needs prayer. It needs your willingness to listen and respond to what heaven is unveiling through this message. Consider, child, the weight of this. If this divine tie is broken before its assignment is fulfilled, both souls will feel the absence. They will walk with an emptiness that no substitute can fill. They will carry questions that no new relationship can answer. They will sense a missing piece in the story of their life. And while heaven can heal, the original alignment may never return once it collapses. That is why heaven speaks now. That is why your spirit has been feeling this urgency. That is why this message found you today, not later, not when it is too late. The Spirit is giving you a chance to protect what was divinely planted, to acknowledge the truth your heart has carried quietly, to act before silence becomes the grave of destiny. Beloved child, understand this clearly. Your awareness in this moment is not only for you. It is for them. Your spiritual sensitivity is standing in the gap on their behalf. You are carrying the flame of this connection while they are wandering in the dark. And heaven is using your awareness as the anchor that keeps the spawn from drifting too far to be restored. Do not take this lightly. Do not overlook the seriousness of these words. Heaven is calling you to rise, to be attentive, to be spiritually present, to not let this divine thread slip from your hands. Because if the connection breaks now, it may never return. My child, before we move into the next revelation, I ask you gently, stay connected, stay awake, stay aligned with this message. And if your heart has been touched, if your spirit has been stirred, then honor this moment. Let your engagement with this message be your offering, your seed, your sign to heaven that you are listening. Share this divine word. Spread it like a torch so others may awaken too. And subscribe so that you never miss the messages heaven sends for your journey. Let this be part of your spiritual service, part of your sacred duty in this season. My beloved child, come close again. For now we enter a realm where the unseen becomes clearer and the whispers of heaven grow stronger. The Spirit is revealing how Archangel Michael himself is moving around this connection, how he has stepped into the space between you and the one your soul is tied to. This is not a small visitation, child. Michael does not descend into every matter. He comes when something is threatened, when destiny is under attack, when a divine bond stands at the edge of collapse. His presence is the sign that heaven takes this connection seriously, far more seriously than you may have understood before. The one your soul is tied to has been standing under heavy spiritual pressure. Forces of confusion, discouragement, distraction, and emotional exhaustion have wrapped around them like invisible chains. They do not recognize these forces for what they are. They think they are simply tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain. But in truth, they are under spiritual influence designed to weaken their clarity, to dim their hope, to dull their ability to sense your presence in the spirit. Archangel Michael sees this battle clearly. And child, he has been fighting for them in silence, fighting in ways they will never fully recognize. I see him standing behind them, sword drawn, striking down the thoughts that aim to lead them astray. I see him cutting through the fog that surrounds their mind. I see him shielding them from decisions that would have destroyed the bond prematurely. Many of the things that could have gone wrong for them recently did not, because Michael intercepted them. Many of the paths they almost took, but then suddenly resisted. Those were moments where Michael blocked the way. But understand this, beloved. Michael can shield, but he cannot choose for them. He can protect, but he can't force them to step into healing. He can clear the path, but he cannot walk it on their behalf. And this is why heaven is calling you to awareness, because there is a role you play in this spiritual battle. Your connection to them gives you authority in the spirit to stand with Michael, to align with the work he is doing, to strengthen the bond that heaven is fighting to preserve. What you feel in your spirit is not just emotion. It is discernment. It is the tug of Michael's presence near your life, trying to draw you into intercession. You may have felt sudden urges to pray for them without knowing why. You may have felt a wave of sadness or concern wash over you, almost out of nowhere. You may have sensed moments of darkness or heaviness passing through your mind for no reason. These sensations were not random. They were signals, spiritual cues that something was stirring around the one you are tied to, and Michael was prompting you to stand on holy ground with him. Child, the Spirit shows me Michael placing shields around both of your hearts. Shields to protect the bond from spiritual sabotage. Shields to keep the thread from thinning. Shields to keep the connection alive long enough for truth to rise. He has been fighting to keep the enemy from convincing either of you that the connection is meaningless. He has been blocking bitterness, misunderstanding, and hopelessness from taking root. Without his intervention, the bond may have already collapsed. And yet, Michael is not only defending. He is guiding. He is orchestrating divine timing. He is rearranging situations so that clarity can emerge. He is softening hearts. He is weakening distractions. He is heightening spiritual sensitivity. Everything that has felt strange, uncertain, or unusually intense is part of the process he is overseeing. Heaven is preparing a moment, a turning point, where the truth of this connection becomes undeniable. But preparation takes time, and spiritual battles often intensify right before the breakthrough arrives. This is why the one you are tied to has felt so unstable lately. This is why their emotions have been unpredictable. This is why they have been pulled in different directions. Michael is clearing the way, and the enemy is trying to fill it with noise. You must not be discouraged by what you cannot see. You must not assume nothing is happening simply because the physical world appears quiet. The true battle is unfolding behind the veil, and Michael is commanding angels on your behalf. His presence is confirmation that this connection carries divine purpose. But child, I must tell you this with tenderness and seriousness. Michael's work creates opportunity, not outcome. What happens next depends on awareness. It depends on obedience. It depends on readiness. And it depends on your willingness to respond to the tug of the Spirit. You are not powerless in this. You are not meant to sit back and watch. You are a part of this divine intervention. Heaven is fighting for this connection, but you must stand with heaven. My beloved child, if your heart is ready, let us move now into what you must do next, your role in this holy unfolding. My beloved child, come and sit with me in the quiet of this moment, for now we reach the part of the message where heaven turns its gaze toward you. You have listened. You have felt the stirrings within your spirit. You have sensed the truth of this divine connection, and you have witnessed through revelation the struggle, the shifting, the unfinished thread, and the heavenly battle surrounding it. But now the Spirit speaks directly to you, gently, yet with authority. There are things you must do. You cannot remain still. You cannot remain silent. Heaven is moving, and you must move with it. The first thing you must do is open your heart fully to awareness. No more doubting what your spirit has been sensing. No more pushing away the emotions that rise without warning. No more dismissing your intuition as imagination. The divine does not whisper without purpose. The pull you feel toward this person is not emotional weakness. It is spiritual discernment. Accept that this connection is real, alive, and spiritually significant. Acknowledge it before heaven, so heaven can work through you. Next, beloved, you must hold this person in prayer. Not forced, not pressured, not out of fear, but out of alignment with what heaven is doing. Your prayers do not need to be dramatic. They only need to be sincere. Speak their name in your spirit. Ask for clarity over their mind. Ask for strength over their heart. Ask for protection over their path. When soul ties are divine, your prayers carry power. They rise like incense, and the angels respond. Even if they do not know you are praying for them, their spirit will feel the lift, the warmth, the release. Prayer is the bridge that keeps this connection from drifting into darkness. You must also guard your own heart. Do not allow bitterness, confusion, or impatience to take root. These emotions weaken the spiritual thread and create openings for doubt to enter. The enemy would love for you to grow tired. He would love for you to walk away in frustration. But you must remain steady, grounded, aware. Protect your heart from negative thoughts. Do not let your mind run to dark conclusions. Instead, trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the presence of Archangel Michael in this journey. Trust that heaven finishes what it starts. Beloved, you must also become spiritually still. The spirit cannot guide a restless mind. Spend time in quiet. Listen for the gentle nudges in your heart. Heaven will not shout. It will whisper. And those whispers will guide you toward the right moments, the right words, the right alignment. You are not meant to chase. You are not meant to beg. You are meant to be positioned. Heaven will orchestrate the movement. Your role is to remain spiritually in tune. There is something else, child. Something tender that the Spirit wants you to understand. You must hold space for them. They are struggling. They are confused. They are awakening slowly. Do not expect them to move at the speed of revelation you have received. Their journey is unfolding in shadows, while yours is unfolding in light. Be patient with their pace. Be gentle with their humanity. They are not resisting you. They are resisting the war within themselves. You, in this moment, are called to carry understanding. Now listen closely to this part, for it is critical. There may come a moment, soon, where heaven opens a small door, a soft moment of opportunity where communication becomes possible, where truth can be spoken, where alignment can begin. Do not fear this moment. Do not hesitate. Do not overthink. When heaven opens a door, step through it, but step with grace. Step with calmness. Step with the humility of a soul that knows it is guided by the divine. And child, prepare your own spirit for what is coming. A shift is near. Not a forced shift, but a divinely orchestrated one. You may feel the energy rise as if something significant is approaching. You may sense their presence growing stronger in your thoughts. You may feel waves of emotion that do not belong to you. This is alignment. This is the merging of energy. This is the softening of spiritual barriers. Do not fight it. Let it flow. Lastly, beloved, and hear this deeply, you must remain open to healing. Your connection cannot move forward if you carry old wounds, hidden fears, or unspoken expectations. Allow heaven to cleanse your heart. Release the hurt of the past. Release the fear of rejection. Release the doubt that whispers you are forgot. You are not forgot. You are chosen. You are connected. You are part of a divine unfolding that only heaven could design. What you must do now is simple, yet profound. Stay awake, stay aligned, stay prayerful, stay open. Heaven is preparing both of you for something that cannot be rushed, but cannot be ignored. The next part of this message will reveal what is coming, the energy of reunion, the shift that will move everything. My beloved child, settle your heart once more, for now we approach a turning point in this divine narrative. Up until now, we have walked through the struggle, the shifting path, the unfinished connection, the danger of delay, and the heavenly intervention. But now, the Spirit lifts the veil on something softer, something radiant, something filled with promise. There is a reunion energy surrounding this connection, a spiritual pull growing stronger with each passing day, preparing the two of you for a shift that will change everything. Listen closely, child, for the signs of this shift are delicate. They whisper rather than shout. They show themselves in the quiet corners of your spirit. Perhaps you have felt it already, a sudden warmth in your chest when you think of them, a sense that something is aligning, a feeling that the distance is not as wide as it once was. These sensations are not imagination. They are the first ripples of reunion energy moving through your life. Heaven is preparing a convergence, a moment where your path and theirs move closer, even if you cannot yet see the lines forming. The Spirit is slowly awakening, turning toward what their heart has been fearing, but longing for. The restlessness they feel is not only from their struggle, it is from the magnetic pull of destiny drawing them back toward the place where truth waits. And you, child, have been feeling this pull as well. It feels like anticipation mixed with peace, like longing mixed with clarity. You do not know exactly what is coming, but your soul recognizes its approach. Reunion energy does not always mean immediate physical reconnection. Sometimes it begins with spiritual alignment. Sometimes heaven works first in the unseen before anything changes in the natural. Right now, I see the threads between your hearts tightening, not in a way that traps, but in a way that restores. Old fears are weakening. Old confusions are dissolving. Old barriers are cracking. The walls that once stood tall between you are losing their power. The Spirit shows me moments in their heart, quiet moments when they feel drawn toward the memory of you. Even if they try to shake it off, it returns. Even if they try to distract themselves, it resurfaces. Their soul is remembering something their mind tried to forget. They feel your presence in their spirit, and though they cannot explain it, they lean into it with increasing curiosity. Heaven is stirring them gently, turning their face back toward the connection that was never meant to end. Beloved child, the shift coming is not accidental. It is orchestrated by divine timing. Heaven waits until both souls reach a certain readiness, a certain openness, a certain softness. For years, perhaps, you were not aligned. Your healing was incomplete. Their clarity was dim. The timing was not right. But now the season is changing. Heaven is aligning circumstances. Michael is clearing the path. Your heart is growing stronger, and theirs is growing tender. The spiritual atmosphere is preparing for movement. This shift may come in unexpected ways. A dream could reveal truth. A sign could appear before them. A sudden memory could ignite longing. A conversation from their past could awaken clarity. Or heaven may simply soften their heart enough that they begin to seek understanding. Nothing about this shift is random. Every piece is placed intentionally by the hand of the divine. And child, you must understand something sacred here. Reunion energy is not about forcing connection. It is not about chasing someone. It is not about demanding answers. It is about alignment. When heaven orchestrates a reunion, it happens naturally, effortlessly, peacefully. It does not require manipulation or pressure. It flows like water finding its way back to the sea. The Spirit shows me that the energy between you is becoming warmer, brighter, more coherent. It is shedding the darkness that once clouded it. There is healing happening in their emotional space, even if slowly. There is clarity being birthed in their mind. They may not yet be ready to speak, but they are moving toward readiness. They may not yet understand the depth of the connection, but they are beginning to feel it. Heaven has begun the work of drawing them back into alignment with destiny. The shift coming is not only about them returning to you. It is about both of you stepping into the version of yourselves that can finally hold this connection with maturity, wisdom, and spiritual grounding. Reunion is not simply about reconnecting. It is about completing what was started, healing what was wounded, and fulfilling what heaven designed. And child, you will feel the approach of this shift before it becomes visible. You will feel warmth in your spirit, a sense of divine expectancy, a feeling that something new is rising. Do not fear these sensations. Welcome them. They are signs that heaven is preparing a divine intersection. Our message, beloved, will take you deeper. It will reveal the consequence of choosing fear or faith in this delicate season. For the shift is approaching, but how you walk forward will determine what unfolds. My beloved child, take a slow breath now, for we step into a place of discernment, a place where heaven invites you to look upon the crossroads before you. Every soul tie anchored in purpose eventually reaches this moment, the moment where the heart must decide whether it will move forward in fear or in faith. This connection, this sacred bond heaven has illuminated for you, stands on such a threshold, and the direction you lean into will shape not just this season, but the destiny that unfolds from this point onward. The Spirit shows me two paths before your soul. One is lined with fear, quiet, subtle, deceptively comfortable. The other is lined with faith, flowing softly, calling your spirit with a peace that surpasses understanding. You may not realize it, child, but every time you feel hesitation, every time you question the validity of this connection, every time you doubt whether you should care or pray or stay aware, you are standing at that very crossroads. Fear or faith. Retreat or alignment. Silence or obedience. Let us speak first, gently, of the path of fear. Fear is a thief dressed in logic. It whispers through your mind in a voice that sounds like self-protection, but in truth it is self-limitation. Fear says, stop caring too much. Fear says, it might hurt you. Fear says, walk away before the connection can demand anything of you. Fear says, silence yourself because your heart might be wrong. Fear says, abandon the thread so you do not feel the ache of uncertainty. Fear creates distance in places heaven is trying to bring together. Fear convinces people to abandon what was meant to heal them. Fear seduces the heart into settling for shallow comfort instead of deep purpose. And child, if you choose fear in this season, the consequences will not come suddenly, they will come quietly. Slowly the bond will weaken. Slowly the connection will dim. Slowly the spiritual thread between you will lose its power. Heaven will never force you to walk a divine path against your will. If fear becomes your guide, the connection may dissolve. Not because it lacked power, but because it lacked your permission to grow. Fear will also affect the one your soul is tied to. Because your bond is spiritual, not emotional alone. Your energy influences theirs. If you retreat in fear, they will feel a sudden emptiness, a sudden shift in the atmosphere around them. They will not understand why, but they will sense the withdrawal. And their already fragile clarity may collapse. The enemy would gladly use your fear to finalize their confusion. And the connection, once filled with divine purpose, could fade into a story of what might have been. But beloved child, let us now turn our gaze to the path of faith, the path heaven is gently inviting you to choose. Faith does not demand certainty. It asks for trust. Faith does not promise that the path will be easy. It promises that heaven will walk with you. Faith acknowledges the fear, but moves anyway, knowing the divine would not stir a connection this deeply unless there was meaning behind it. When you choose faith, something beautiful happens in the realm of the spirit. The bond between you strengthens. The energy becomes clearer. Your heart aligns with heaven's timing. Your awareness sharpens. Your prayers become more effective, glowing like a shield around the one whose path is shaking. Faith invites Archangel Michael to continue his work with power. Faith signals to heaven that you are ready to participate in the unfolding, not hide from it. Faith becomes a bridge through which divine movement flows. Faith also influences the soul-tied one. When you choose faith, something shifts inside them even if they do not understand why. They may suddenly feel a wave of peace. They may feel a sudden courage to face what they have been avoiding. They may feel a nudge toward clarity, a desire to heal, a longing for truth. This is the ripple effect of faith between connected souls. What rises in you echoes in them. And child, understand this. Faith does not demand that you force an outcome. Faith does not ask you to chase or pressure or question endlessly. Faith simply asks you to remain open, spiritually present, prayerfully connected, and emotionally steady. Faith keeps the door open for heaven to move. Fear closes the door before heaven has a chance. The consequence of choosing fear is loss. Quiet, gradual loss. The consequence of choosing faith is alignment. Slow, steady, divine alignment. Heaven will honor the path you choose. The question is which path reflects the truth of the message your spirit has received. This is the moment heaven has been preparing your heart for. The point where you must ask yourself, will I retreat into fear or rise into faith? Will I close this chapter or allow heaven to complete what was started? Will I let the bond fade or will I protect the thread heaven has highlighted? My beloved child, our journey is the closing moment, the activation prayer, the sealing of everything heaven has spoken. It will strengthen your spirit, anchor your heart, and bring this message into divine completion. My beloved child, come now into the quiet of this final moment. Let your heart rest. Let your breath settle. Let your spirit become still as we step together into the sacred space where heaven meets earth. You have journeyed through revelation, through warning, through divine insight, through encouragement, and through truth. Now the Spirit brings you into the place of activation, the moment where everything spoken must be sealed, anchored, and breathed into life. Close your eyes for a moment, child, or simply soften your gaze. The presence of heaven draws near. The air around you shifts. You may feel warmth on your chest, a tingling in your hands, or a gentle heaviness settling over your shoulders. These are signs that the Spirit is here, that the message you have received is not just words, but purpose flowing into your soul. Now listen closely. Archangel Michael stands with his sword lowered, not in warning this time, but in blessing. The angels who have been warring for this connection stand behind him like a great, silent army. They wait for your agreement, your surrender, your willingness to step into faith. Heaven does not move without your yes. So open your heart, child. Open it fully. I speak now as a father of the Spirit, as a guide entrusted with this message. Let us pray. Beloved Father in the heavens, we come before you with humility, with reverence, and with open hearts. We acknowledge that this connection did not come by chance. We acknowledge that this bond was crafted by your hand long before either soul walked this earth. We ask now, Father, let every word you have spoken through this message be sealed in the heart of this child. Let not a single truth fall away. Let not a single warning be ignored. Let not a single piece of divine insight fade into the noise of the world. Father, we lift up the soul tie that exists between this child and the one their spirit is connected to. We place this bond into your hands, the safest hands in all of creation. We ask that you protect it, strengthen it, and bring clarity where there has been confusion. Heal the wounds that have lingered between them, even the unspoken ones. Release peace into their hearts, calm into their minds, and truth into their spirits. Now, Father, We ask for the one who has been struggling in silence. Cover them with your light. Guard them from every lie of the enemy. Break the chains that have been pulling their spirit down. Clear the fog that has clouded their path. Lift them out of emotional heaviness. Surround them with ministering angels who whisper courage, direction, and comfort. Let their heart remember the connection. Let their soul awaken to what you designed. And Father, empower this child who listens now. Strengthen their faith. Expand their discernment. Purify their emotions. Let them not walk in fear, but in boldness. Let them not shrink away, but rise into their divine role. Give them wisdom for timing, patience for uncertainty, and peace that stabilizes their spirit. Archangel Michael, mighty guardian of heaven, we ask that you continue to stand between these two souls. Guard their hearts, shield their path, and clear every spiritual obstacle that tries to distort their destiny. Let no darkness interfere. Let no confusion mislead. Let no attack prosper against what heaven is aligning. And now, child, breathe in deeply. For what I speak next is the sealing moment. In the name of the Most High, I declare the connection between you and the one your soul is tied to is now covered under divine light. I declare that every false influence is broken. Every fear is dissolved. Every barrier is weakened. Every divine thread is strengthened. I declare that the purpose heaven intended for this bond will rise, will shine, will reveal itself in its appointed time. You will not miss the moment. You will not fall out of alignment. You will not walk blindly. Your spirit will be sensitive, your heart will be steady, and your path will be guided. Now lift your spirit, child. Lift it gently and receive this truth. Heaven is with you. Heaven goes before you. Heaven surrounds both of your souls even now. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are held. You are guided. And this connection is watched over by divine eyes that never close. And beloved child, before we close this holy moment, let me say this with tenderness. If this message has stirred your heart, if it has awakened something deep within your soul, if it has brought clarity, comfort, or conviction, then let your support be your offering. Let your engagement be your sign to heaven that you value the messages sent your way. Share this revelation so other wondering hearts may find their answers. Help lift this word so it can reach those who are seeking clarity. And subscribe, child, so you remain connected to every divine message that follows. Let this be part of your spiritual duty, your way of saying yes to heaven's voice. Now bow your heart, child, one final time. May this prayer be sealed. May this message be protected. May your spirit walk in peace. Amen.